You're looking at Iron Man facing his darkest moment ever. Tony lies weakly on the spaceship and slowly activates his broken helmet, preparing to record his final moments.
If you find this recording, don't post it on social media. It's gonna be a real tearjerker.
Back in Avengers, Infinity War, Thor's axe missed the vital spot. Thanos used his last breath to snap his fingers, wiping out half of all life across the universe. On the planet Titan, only Nebula and Tony managed to survive. Tony spent every single day modifying the ship to head back to Earth. Even so, the craft broke down thousands of light years away from our planet. Supplies on board had run completely dry and their oxygen would only last until the next morning. The two fell into total despair, lying there quietly waiting for the end. Just as they were about to run out of oxygen, a brilliant glow appeared outside the ship and jolted Tony awake. He finally saw a ray of hope, and it was Captain Marvel, the cosmic protector. She towed the entire spaceship back to the Avengers compound. Yet the first words Tony said to Captain America were full of frustration.
Lost again.
This unprepared, brutal battle left the gaunt Tony extremely irritable. He had told everyone before that he wanted to build armored defenses to protect the whole world, but no one supported his idea.
You said we'll do that together too. And guess what, Cap? We lost. And you weren't there.
He grew more and more worked up as he talked, and even pulled out the nano-arc reactor from his chest and handed it to Cap. Soon after he collapsed to the ground from sheer exhaustion, the team decided to take back the Infinity Gauntlet and bring all the vanished people back to life. Thor was also filled with regret over his failed strike, so he summoned Stormbreaker right in front of Captain Marvel.
I like this one.
After running analyses, Nebula detected energy signals from the Infinity Stones. An Earth-like planet had given off the same energy a few days earlier. What they had no idea about was that Thanos had already retired by then. He looked worn out from a fierce fight and dragged his tired body back to his small cabin. Suddenly, a powerful energy descended from the sky. Captain Marvel caught Thanos off guard and restrained his arms. Right away, Thor swung his axe and cut off his left arm. But when Rocket flipped over the Infinity Gauntlet, they found all 6 stones were long gone. To stop others from using the stones to rewrite the universe, Thanos pushed his badly injured body to the limit and destroyed all the stones by leveraging their conflicting properties. This act nearly cost him his life. Everyone thought Thanos was lying, but only Nebula knew the truth. For all the terrible things her adoptive father had done, he never told lies. With all hope shattered, Thor lifted his axe and delivered the finishing blow.
What did you do?
I went for the head.
The biggest threat to the universe was gone, yet the whole group was drowned in sorrow. Without the Infinity Stones, those who disappeared might never come back. Now watch closely, this guy is no ordinary person. He stomps down hard and presses the button for the quantum tunnel. As the machine slowly powers up, a figure shoots out from the quantum realm. It's Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man, who can shrink and grow in size. He tried to get in touch with his teammates but got no response at all. He wandered along the street in total confusion, having no clue what had happened. Streets that used to be bustling were now completely empty. When he saw countless missing person posters on utility poles, he realized something terrible had happened. He could never accept the truth. 5 hours trapped in the quantum realm turned into 5 whole years in the real world. He frantically checked tombstones looking for his daughter Cassie's name, only to find his own name carved on one too. He sprinted home as fast as he could to check on his family. Luckily, his daughter was still there. She survived the snap and had grown into a young lady. After that, Scott headed for the Avengers compound. Captain America and Black Widow were utterly shocked to see Ant-Man still alive. Natasha, who had been trapped in despair, finally saw hope. Surprisingly, the first thing he did was grab and eat Natasha's sandwich. Then he told them everything he'd been through. Time flows differently inside the quantum realm. What felt like 5 years to everyone else was just 5 hours for him while he was trapped. He put forward a bold plan. They could take advantage of the time difference in the quantum realm, build a time machine, travel back to the past before Thanos' attack, and rescue everyone who vanished. To test whether this idea could work, the group went to find the retired Tony. If they strictly followed the rules of time travel, traveled back, and collected all 6 Infinity Stones, they could snap their fingers and bring everyone home. No matter how hard they explained, Tony still turned them down. Now a father of a young daughter, he only wanted to live a peaceful family life. Had to leave empty-handed. Since Tony refused to help, Captain America had to turn to another genius to develop the time machine. By this time, Dr. Banner had fully combined the Hulk's strength with his own intelligence. The two sides no longer fought against each other, though the Hulk's power had weakened a lot. To bring back half of all lost lives, Banner decided to give the plan a try. Banner had little experience with the quantum realm, so Scott ended up being the test subject. In just dozens of seconds, Scott experienced a full cycle of life from birth to old age. When he finally returned to normal, Scott opened his mouth and said,
"Somebody peed my pants." Oh, thank God.
That night, Tony stared at the photo of him and Spider-Man and fell into deep thought again. He went down to his basement and ran a digital simulation based on Ant-Man's time travel idea. What started as a casual test proved that building a time machine was actually possible. Yet when he looked at his young daughter, he grew afraid of losing the peaceful life he now had.
Love you tons.
I love you 3000.
After careful consideration, he decided to reach out to Captain America. The two had drifted apart ever since the Avengers Civil War. To focus on the greater good, Tony returned Cap's shield and they reconciled right then. Now everything was in place, and their top priority was to bring all teammates back together. Banner and Rocket headed to Asgard to find Thor. Thor was still haunted by his failure to stop Thanos. He spent all his days overindulging in food and drinks in Asgard, becoming a withdrawn and fragile loner. No one could believe the once invincible Thor had sunk so low.
You alright?
Yes, fine. Why?
Don't you look alright?
You look like melted ice cream.
After some persuasion from Banner and Rocket, Thor agreed to return to the Avengers compound. Even so, he barely put down his beer after arriving. Black Widow went to Tokyo alone to find Hawkeye, who now lived as a wandering vigilante. Thanos' snap wiped out half of all life across the universe at random, and Hawkeye lost his entire family while surviving himself. For the past 5 years, he'd taken his pain out on criminal groups to ease his sorrow. Seeing hatred cloud his mind, Widow told him there was finally a way to bring everyone back. Hope returned to the grief-stricken Hawkeye at last. The team worked non-stop day after day to assemble the machine, and it was nearly complete. Colonel Rhodes raised a question: why not simply travel back to when Thanos was just an infant? Banner replied that the idea was far too cruel. It would only create a brand new timeline. Changing the past could never rewrite their present future. Their only plan was to collect all the Infinity Stones, bring them to their current timeline, and use the stone's power to restore everyone who'd vanished. They would then send each stone back to its original time and place afterward. Every time jump relied on Pym particles for shrinking power, and their stock only allowed one round trip for each person. It meant they could not make a single mistake.
One test run.
Before long, the time machine was fully completed. Hawkeye stepped up as the first tester and traveled safely back to the period before the snap. When he heard his daughter's voice, Hawkeye wore a long-awaited smile. The test was clearly a success. After discussing the plan, the team split into 3 groups to jump to different time points: New York, Asgard, and Morag. For 5 years, they'd endured the pain of losing family and friends. Today, they had a chance to get everything back. Everyone got fully prepared, determined to gather all 6 Infinity Stones.
See you in a minute.
As the time machine activated slowly, the group was successfully transported to the eras where the stones existed. Hulk was sent to see the Ancient One and retrieve the Time Stone. He reached out for the stone, but in the next second, the Ancient One landed a gentle strike and separated Banner's soul from his body. He was shocked to see this sorceress was far stronger than him. With no physical form left, Banner had to explain the whole story to her. No matter how clearly he stated their mission, the Ancient One still refused to believe him. She said handing over the stone would let darkness consume this world. As the supreme sorceress, she could never let the time stone fall into others' hands. Her attitude changed instantly the moment she heard the name Stephen. Banner was left totally confused. The Ancient One lifted her hand and sent Banner's soul back into his body. She then channeled her magic, took out the time stone and handed it to him. She knew Stephen would become the greatest sorcerer among them someday,
Strange is meant to be the best of us.
and he must have his reasons for this choice. In the end, Banner successfully obtained the Time Stone. Tony flew into the Avengers Tower stealthily. Loki had just been captured by the Avengers. He glanced at Captain America's build. Tony couldn't help but let out a sigh.
Did nothing for your ass.
In order to steal the Space Stone, Scott Lang got into position. Tony snapped his fingers and managed to let Scott possess his past self. The group got on the elevator to head down to the first floor. The hot-tempered Hulk tried to join them too, but everyone turned him away. After that, Tony spun around coolly and left the scene. Tony's scans revealed the Mind Scepter was being moved by Hydra forces. Learning its location, Captain America walked into the elevator calmly. Everyone expected a brutal fight, yet Cap settled the situation with just one line.
Hail Hydra.
Upon hearing his words, those agents truly believed Cap was one of their Hydra allies. But things were far more complicated than that. Halfway along the way, Cap ran into his younger self from the past. The past Cap thought he was Loki in disguise, so the two immediately started brawling. It was impossible to tell the two Captain Americas apart.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
In the end, the future Cap used the scepter to restrain his past self. Cap successfully obtained the Mind Stone,
That is America's ass.
but trouble broke out on Tony's end. He arrived at the first floor first and put on a disguise. Scott snuck into the reactor while no one noticed, and temporarily disabled the 2012 version of Tony. With Scott's cooperation, Tony grabbed the case holding the Space Stone. He planned to escape via the stairs, but was suddenly knocked flying by the Hulk. The Space Stone landed right at Loki's feet. Loki would never let this chance to escape slip away, and he vanished in the blink of an eye. The stone they had worked so hard to get was snatched by Loki just like that. The three fell into total despair. Each person only had enough Pym particles for one single trip. Just then, Tony came up with a plan to get the Space Stone and restock on new Pym particles at the same time. They would travel to New Jersey in 1970, so Cap told Scott to head back first with the Mind Stone, while he and Tony used their last Pym particles for another time jump. The year was 1970. Captain America and Iron Man disguised themselves and snuck inside smoothly. This became one of Iron Man's most unforgettable experiences. Tony cut through the casing with one hand and retrieved the Tesseract. Right after he placed it into a briefcase, a familiar voice rang out behind him. It was his father, Howard Stark. He never thought traveling to New Jersey in 1970 would lead him to meet his own father. Tony was caught off guard and at a loss for words. Luckily, Howard did not recognize him. The two chatted and laughed along the way, and even exchanged ideas about raising children. Tony rarely accepted gifts from others, but he took the present his father offered this time. Those few short minutes together made Tony finally realize that his father was not as harsh as he had always imagined. Meanwhile, Cap pulled off a diversion tactic and obtained the Pym particles for time travel. But the moment he looked up, he unexpectedly ran into his first love, Peggy Carter. To bring back half of all the vanished lives, Cap held back his longing and left the area. Yet he had already made a bold decision deep down. Thor and Rocket also traveled back to Asgard in 2013. But Thor only cared about drinking, which nearly drove Rocket to frustration. When he saw his mother walking by, the dispirited Thor could no longer hold back his emotions. He knew this was the day his mother would die. Thor followed her quietly, but his mother noticed him eventually. Though Thor tried his best to hide his identity, his mother, raised by sorceresses, saw at once that he came from the future.
The future hasn't been kind to you, has it?
I didn't say I was from the future.
He wanted to warn her of the impending danger, but she stopped him. Meanwhile, Rocket, who was on a separate mission, successfully retrieved the ether. With their mission nearly complete, Thor hugged his mother for a final farewell. Just as he was about to travel back, Thor suddenly remembered he had left something behind. He stretched his hand up into the air, and amid a sharp whoosh of wind, Mjolnir flew back into his grasp at last. At the same time, Nebula and Rhodey arrived on Morag in 2014. Seeing Star-Lord acting goofy,
So he's an idiot.
Rhodey lost his patience and threw a punch at him. They stole Star-Lord's key without trouble, and opened the door to the treasure vault. Nebula extended her cybernetic arm, reached slowly through the protective barrier, and took out the orb containing the Power Stone. The two planned to head back to the Avengers compound, but Nebula suddenly began to malfunction. Thanos from this timeline had sensed something wrong, and tampered with her beforehand. He learned every detail of the Avengers' plan. To stop them, Thanos came up with a bold scheme. He ordered the Nebula of this timeline to disguise herself as the Nebula from the future and sneak into the Avengers base. Thanos planned to snap his fingers once again, to erase all life across the universe, so no one would ever dare to oppose him again. Now that they had secured the final Power Stone, everyone passed through the quantum tunnel and returned to their original timeline. Then Hawkeye told everyone about Black Widow's heroic sacrifice. The Soul Stone could only be claimed by trading a life. Natasha volunteered and jumped off the cliff to make the sacrifice. No one could bring themselves to accept this fact. Banner was consumed by rage. There was no going back now. Their top priority was to use the 6 Infinity Stones to bring back half of all life in the universe. Iron Man set down his injured left hand and finished building an Infinity Gauntlet for his right hand. He seemed to have long been ready to sacrifice himself. Tony operated the device remotely, and the 6 stones were slowly fitted into the gauntlet. Just as Tony waited eagerly, the playful Rocket gave it a sudden nudge. Now the Infinity Gauntlet was fully ready. The big question now was who would snap their fingers, and it quickly became a tough dilemma. Thor volunteered, offering to take on the task for everyone, yet the others held him back. Given Thor's current state, he would likely end up causing chaos instead of fixing things. While the group argued heatedly, Banner stepped forward on his own. The gauntlet primarily emits gamma radiation, and no one was more suited for this than him. The Avengers all agreed without hesitation. Everyone then got into defensive positions at once.
Friday, do me a favor and activate barn door protocol, will you?
Yes, boss.
As the nanotech Infinity Gauntlet slipped onto Banner's hand, a massive surge of gamma energy burst forth instantly. Banner dropped to his knees in agony. Thor beside him urged him to take it off right away.
Okay.
After regaining his breath, Banner gathered all his strength and snapped his fingers just as Thanos had done. His arm was immediately ravaged by the overwhelming power, shrinking noticeably in size. Luckily, Tony gave him emergency treatment right away. When they saw calls coming in from Hawkeye's wife, they realized half of all the lost lives had returned. But their joy did not last long. Banner's eyes suddenly widened in shock. A massive warship locked onto them and opened fire. Dozens of cannonballs rained down, reducing the Avengers compound to ruins in mere seconds. They never imagined all of this was the work of the imposter Nebula. She had secretly used the time machine to open a quantum tunnel, bringing Thanos from the past into their present timeline. Trapped under the rubble, the heroes were completely helpless, unable to move an inch. Banner held up the heavy debris with his immense strength. Ant-Man escaped harm thanks to his ability to shrink and move freely. Hawkeye also stayed safe by moving nimbly around the wreckage. He even managed to retrieve the Infinity Gauntlet. But that was exactly what Thanos wanted. He sent a pack of alien beasts to chase after Hawkeye. Hawkeye fought with everything he had to protect the gauntlet, swinging his blade non-stop. Just as he tried to catch his breath, the fake Nebula walked over calmly. Thinking she was an ally, Hawkeye handed the gauntlet over to her.
Father, I have the stones.
What?
Just then, Gamora and the real Nebula arrived to help and took down the imposter with a well-aimed shot. Meanwhile, Tony roused the unconscious Captain America. They slowly made their way toward the exit, only to find Thanos waiting for them. It felt just like the battles from years ago. They would never let history repeat itself. Thanos put on his helmet and grabbed his massive blade. A brutal showdown was about to begin. This was one of Iron Man and Thor's most impressive team-ups. Lightning crackled all over Thor's body. The moment the lightning struck Tony, the energy-absorbing gear on Tony's back converted it into a powerful electric current, hitting the confused Thanos with a massive energy blast. Thor then hurled Mjolnir forward, but Thanos used Tony as a human shield. The powerful impact knocked Tony out cold. They were stunned that Thanos had learned all their plans and vowed to destroy the entire universe and rebuild it in his own image. The three heroes were determined not to let disaster happen again. A bolt of lightning streaked down from the sky, and Thor called Mjolnir to his left hand and Stormbreaker to his right. Thor was still an unstoppable force. Iron Man and Captain America unleashed their full power as well. The three attacked Thanos relentlessly from all directions, yet his defenses were far too strong. Eventually, Tony was knocked unconscious too. Seizing the chance, Thanos took them on one by one. Captain America was kicked hard and left unable to move. Thor relied heavily on his weapons, and Thanos overpowered him, pinning him to the ground. Even in this desperate situation, the badly injured Thor still reached for his axe. Thanos saw his opening and struck back fiercely. As Stormbreaker was about to swing down toward Thor, Mjolnir suddenly flew through the air from afar. It slammed into Thanos and sent him flying. Then the hammer drifted right into Captain America's grasp.
I knew it.
Empowered by Mjolnir, Cap's strength surged instantly. He immediately launched a fierce combo with the hammer in his shield. Thanos was forced back after just a couple of exchanges. Thanos could not believe his eyes, that his foe could also wield the power of lightning. Though Cap fought with everything he had, the nearly invincible Thanos only suffered minor wounds. When Cap missed his next strike, Thanos quickly turned the tide of the battle. He swung his giant blade and attacked Cap relentlessly. Cap sustained a leg injury, and Mjolnir was knocked out of his hand by a single punch. He was shocked to see his vibranium shield badly damaged by Thanos' massive blade. Thanos chose not to deliver a finishing blow right away. Instead, he made them watch as he prepared to destroy the planet. A brilliant beam of light shot down from the sky, and Thanos' massive army arrived in the blink of an eye. Faced with this overwhelming force, the injured Captain America stood fearless. He gripped his shield tightly, ready to fight until his last breath. Just at that moment, Falcon's voice suddenly came through Cap's comms.
On your left.
One golden portal after another opened up behind him. All the heroes who vanished in Thanos' snap stepped out from the portals. Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Falcon, and Star-Lord all appeared. Ant-Man and the Hulk also emerged from beneath the rubble. Every superhero across the Marvel Universe had gathered on the battlefield. The three original heroes were no longer alone. The most epic and heartfelt final battle in the Marvel Universe had finally begun.
Assemble.
This battle is hands down the greatest one for every Marvel fan. Every single superhero showed up on the battlefield. Even Pepper Potts suited up in the armor Tony built for her. Ant-Man, with his ability to shrink and squeeze through tight spaces, rescued Banner and the other two from the rubble. At Captain America's command, every Avenger charged forward with a battle cry. Thanos gave a sharp commanding point forward, and his entire army swarmed forward in a full-scale attack. Cull Obsidian led the charge straight into the fight, and this unprecedented epic battle officially kicked off right then and there. giant man landed just one single punch and took down an entire flying leviathan. Every hero used their unique abilities to fight back against Thanos' massive army. The enemy looked fierce at first glance, but most of them were just low-level grunts. Seeing Captain America wielding his Stormbreaker, Thor was clearly not thrilled about it, so he quickly traded Mjolnir for the axe. Tony and Pepper fought side by side as a power couple, firing from every angle mid-air in their suits. For just one split second, Tony took his eyes off the fight, and Cull Obsidian caught him off guard from behind. With Tony's life on the line, Spider-Man swooped in and webbed Cull Obsidian off his feet. Right after that, Ant-Man landed a finishing kick. Thanos had just lost another one of his top lieutenants. Spider-Man tried to fill him in on everything that had happened, but Tony, who hadn't seen him in 5 years, just wanted to pull him into a tight hug. He made a mental note to get his protege some better gear this time. But when Star-Lord reunited with the group, the vibe took a totally different turn.
I thought I lost you.
Thanos' only goal now was to get his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet. To keep that from happening, the Avengers' only shot was to send the Infinity Gauntlet back to its original timeline, through the quantum tunnel in the van, but it still needed 10 more minutes to boot up. Hawkeye was fighting tooth and nail to protect the gauntlet right then. He moved with sharp, agile footwork, but he was still just a regular human at the end of the day. Right when things looked bleak, Black Panther dropped down from above.
Give it to me.
He grabbed the gauntlet and sprinted full speed ahead, kicking off a relay race to get it to safety. Shielded by his vibranium suit, Thanos' alien beasts didn't stand a chance against him. He was just moments away from reaching the target, and Thanos was about to step in to stop him, but a woman in red suddenly stepped into his path.
You took everything from me.
Scarlet Witch faced the man who killed Vision, and she held absolutely nothing back. She unleashed the full force of her chaos magic. Under the crushing power of her magic, even Thanos' nearly indestructible blade was split clean in two. Then she lifted Thanos high into the air, and his armor started peeling off piece by piece. Thanos grimaced in searing pain. Driven to his limit, he ordered his warship to open fire. He didn't care if he took out his own troops in the process. He had to take down Scarlet Witch no matter what. As cannon fire rained down from the sky, both sides suffered heavy casualties. The sorcerers quickly raised magical shields and blocked most of the incoming blasts. But Thanos' barrage had another unforeseen consequence. The nearby dam was shattered by the cannon fire, and far worse things were still to come. This is the final battle that cemented Iron Man's legendary status. Every Avenger dropped to one knee. They honored the courage of an ordinary man who stood equal to gods. Tony could barely believe it. Thanos had ordered his warship to open fire indiscriminately. The nearby dam had been shattered by the blasts. The entire Avenger force would soon be swallowed by floodwaters. Doctor Strange quickly conjured magical barriers to hold the water back. To retrieve the fallen Infinity Gauntlet, Black Panther sprinted forward with all his might, but Ebony Maw trapped him with telekinetic powers, leaving him frozen in place. Luckily, Spider-Man swung by just in time. As he took hold of the gauntlet, he instantly activated his instant kill mode, but wave after wave of alien beasts kept swarming in. Even Spider-Man couldn't fend them all off on his own. To keep the relay going, Captain America hurled Mjolnir with all his strength. Spider-Man timed it perfectly and shot a web. He successfully broke free from the surrounding horde. With Pepper's backup, he made it safely onto Valkyrie's Pegasus. Even so, Thanos' warship kept firing non-stop. Spider-Man was hit by a blast and crashed to the ground. The spider legs on his back were completely destroyed. Under the relentless bombardment, the Avengers were pushed into a desperate corner. Just when all hope seemed lost, everyone suddenly looked up toward the sky. For some reason, Thanos' warship had turned its fire upward into the clouds. Tony's AI ran an analysis. Something was breaking through the atmosphere. A golden glow burst through the clouds. It was unfazed by all incoming fire, and sliced straight through Thanos' warship. Watching Captain Marvel make her epic entrance, every hero's morale skyrocketed. By then, Ant-Man had successfully activated the quantum tunnel. Captain Marvel took hold of the Infinity Gauntlet. She moved like an unstoppable armor-piercing round, straight for the finish line. She was seconds away from reaching it. A furious Thanos used his broken blade to destroy the quantum tunnel entirely. The Avengers' last hope was completely shattered. Their only priority now was to keep Thanos from getting the gauntlet. Realizing how dire the situation was, Tony lunged in to fight for it. Captain America and Thor joined forces alongside him, but even the three heavy hitters were no match for Thanos. Just as he slipped the gauntlet on once more, Captain Marvel caught him off guard and landed a flurry of punches, but they barely dealt any damage at all. Thanos swatted her away with one hand, sending her flying. Just as tragedy seemed set to repeat itself, Captain Marvel charged back and grabbed the gauntlet with one hand. Faced with such a powerful opponent, Thanos had no choice but to pry out the Power Stone and punch her away with a single blow. Doctor Strange knew this was the only chance. He held up one finger, signaling to Tony. Tony understood in an instant. He was the 1 in 14 million winning outcome. As Thanos prepared to snap his fingers, the badly injured Tony grabbed hold of the gauntlet, but Thanos tossed him aside effortlessly. Thanos thought he could finally snap his fingers and win, but when he snapped, nothing happened at all. He looked down in confusion. All 6 stones had been transferred to Tony's hand. His last breath, Tony snapped his fingers. Thanos and his entire army turned to dust. Rhodey knelt down beside Tony, watching his oldest friend slip away. Everyone was consumed with grief. The once carefree playboy had ultimately given his life to protect the entire planet. Later, everyone held a solemn funeral for Tony. As the small boat drifted farther and farther away, the man who'd saved the world time and time again would live on in our hearts forever.